students will be able to do as a result of this lecture is learn more about what it takes to actually make a product from beginning to finish, um, by using certain softwares that are used in the industry, uh, sketching their ideas, the internet, and also their minds and creativity. So let's get started. So firstly, what I would like to do, well, what I usually do is I'll get the kids and the students in groups of maybe 4 or 5, and I'll have them talk about certain ideas. I give them a topic as maybe like a glider, like an airplane glider. Then I'll typically let them research how certain gliders glide and what makes them go the farthest and makes them efficient. So I'll let them go on the internet to figure that stuff out. Then I'll let them collaborate and come up with one sketch and have them tell me how many parts that certain glider is going to be, kind of like this. So in this case, there's 3 different parts. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. So this just begins to show the students that, it takes different parts to make an actual product function. So from the sketching point, I usually have them start talking about what types of features they would use in the programs, as in extruding, cutting, certain patterns that they would use to create this object in a 3D model. I usually would have them write it down on a piece of paper as well and show it to me. This allows the students to kind of go over certain engineering and design concepts in class, and it allows them to visualize what they're actually going to do in their minds before they actually go on the computer, so they have a set plan, which saves time for pretty much everybody. After this point, I'll typically have the students go ahead and get on the computers, open up the program, and I'll have like a template set up as far as maybe like a 4x4 inch, because this will allow the students enough space on the printer to print out their gliders so they don't go over the limit. I would like for them to give me at the end a dimensioned drawing of the final product. That's typically way further on in the project, towards the very end. So from there, I'll pretty much allow them to design their gliders as a team, so rotating the students as well. That's all once they have their final set glider that they chose. Once they have their final set glider designed, then this is typically where I would go and make sure that the design is, before printing the file, everything fits together properly. So I will pretty much evaluate their work that they've done, just so once we print it, we don't waste any material from just different lack of fitting parts, basically. And this is something that they'll go over themselves, checking up on themselves, so they learn like this part won't fit with this part, it needs to get smaller, so they need to resize certain things to make it function properly. So after all the evaluating process is done, the checking, this is typically where I would show the students how to export the files to the right file that fits the 3D printer, kind of as in like the 3D printer that I have in the back over here. Only I use the school's 3D printer that they provide to me, and pretty much allow the groups, as soon as each one is finished, I will allow them to use the printer hands-on, which gives them that technology, learning how to operate the 3D printer, loading it, starting it, putting in the material needed, and printing out the final product. So I'll allow them to do that, and then once they do that, then that's when the construction part kind of comes into play, where they actually put together their models and they start the testing process. So once the testing process is done and they see that, maybe they need to modify some things, and they go back and they modify them, then I will have them pretty much present the final product, which is kind of, here's an example, kind of ends up looking like this, maybe a little bit larger, a little bit smaller than this. And then I'll pretty much just ask them, like, what did it take for them to create this, what features did they use? What did they have to modify to make it glide even better? What they would have done different if they had the time to do it. And from that point, I'll typically have them stand in front of class and deliver kind of a short presentation on what they feel they could have done different, while talking about the different features and engineering concepts that they use to actually build the product.